In 2006, former Indian PM Manmohan Singh described the Maoist armed rebellion as the country's single biggest internal security challenge. But today, the same movement, born from peasant anger, is on the verge of fading. Years of targeted operations, arrests, and surrenders have weakened its leadership and militants. The dense forests that once sheltered them have been encroached upon by roads, patrols, and surveillance. So, how did a ragtag group of rebels wage war against the Indian state for more than half a century? To understand this, we need to go back to where it all started. India's communist movement began under British colonial rule during the 1920s. After the country gained its independence in 1947, resentment began to simmer, especially among the lowest caste, the Dalits, and tribal communities who felt sidelined during India's economic progress. Much of this unrest was centered in eastern and central India across the mineral-rich Deccan Plateau that powered India's industries but remained deeply impoverished. In 1967, in a small West Bengal village called Naxalbari, tribal and Dalit peasants armed with bows and sickles rose up against landlords, sparking an armed rebellion. They were heavily inspired by Mao Zedong's ideology. It sparked what became known as the Naxalite or Maoist movement, a radical offshoot of the Communist Party of India. Its goal was to overthrow what it viewed as an exploitative state serving landlords, corporations, and the upper castes at the expense of India's poorest. From West Bengal to Telangana, the movement spread due to growing discontent with land inequality, tribal displacement, and mines being constructed on land they use for their livelihoods. By the mid-2000s, the Maoists operated across an area roughly the size of Portugal, some 90,000 square kilometers. The region became known as the Red Corridor. New Delhi responded with mixed strategies, often involving military operations. Villages turned into battlegrounds, with thousands from both sides and non-combatants being killed over several decades. By 2009, intense military pressure had marked the beginning of the end of the armed rebellion. Military operations had intensified, many senior Maoist commanders were killed, others had been arrested after surrendering, and some had died of illness while hiding out in the forests. While the rebellion may be dying out, the core grievances remain: land ownership injustice, tribal displacement, mines being constructed on land they use for their livelihoods, and marginalization of the poorest. For decades, inequality in land ownership has plagued Indians. Government planning data from the late 90s showed that a large share of Dalit and tribal households had little to no land. Across central India, mining and infrastructure projects have displaced thousands of tribal families. Arable land and forests, their only source of livelihood, are still being seized by Indian industries with government support. The guns may have fallen silent, but inequality and exploitation still run deep in India's heartland.